Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sandra Abuna. I live in the province of Alberta, Canada, and I like to provide helpful tips that can help anyone move into Canada or settle into Canada seamlessly. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about occupation in demand in 5 provinces in Canada. Now there are 10 provinces in Canada, but today I'll be doing 5. Now, when you're considering moving to Canada, especially if you want to use the PNP Provincial Nominee Program, route, you're probably going to be thinking about which province has a demand for your job, or where the job in which you're skilled. And this is something that many people have asked about in my comment section. In fact, recently someone just asked about where they can get the details of the occupation in demand in the provinces. Now let's get started. All provinces in Canada have their own provincial nomination pathways to Canada, apart from the federal pathway, which people can also take to Canada. So provinces also have their own programs. Now, in these provinces, the occupation in demand usually refers to an area of your expertise or job that is in demand in that province, where you have an education or you have work experience. The first province we'll be talking about today is Ontario. The capital of Ontario is Toronto, or Toronto, whichever one. And then Ontario has a population of about 15,386,000. Now, the official language in Ontario is English, and very recently Ontario doubled its immigration spots from 9,000 to 18,000. That's amazing. And Ontario recently conducted its draw in May, just about 2 days ago, and invited 1,863 people. As per its occupation in demand list, Ontario updates this list monthly. So what it was probably last month or 2 months ago may not be what it would be in this month. Now let's look at what Ontario's occupation in demand list is for the month of May. So in May 2023, notifications of interest were issued for Ontario's Express Entry Human Capital Priority Stream, which is one of its PMP pathways. Let's look at the NOC codes and occupations that were invited. We can see that NOC codes 20012 for computer and information systems managers was one of those that was highlighted. We can see that data scientists with NOC code 21211. We can see database analysts and data administrators with NOC code 21223. We can see computer systems developers with NOC codes 21230. We can see software engineers and designers with NOC codes 21231. We can see software developers and programmers as well with NOC codes 21232. We can see web designers with NOC codes 21233. We can see web developers and programmers with NOC codes 21234. We can see computer engineers, except software engineers and designers, with NOC codes 21311. This is amazing. I'll put a link for the Ontario PNP website in my description box. So if you want to actually explore that page and see more of, the areas where Ontario is tilting towards in terms of nominations, and get more information that could, help your immigration to Ontario. So the next province we'll be talking about is Saskatchewan. The largest city is Saskatoon, but the capital of Saskatchewan is Regina. The population of Saskatchewan is about 1.2 million. In Saskatchewan, the occupation in demand falls under Tier 0, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3, with the exceptions of Tier 4 and Tier 5. For Tier 0, these are occupations that have to do with management occupations. For example, advertising managers, marketing managers, finance managers, and generally management occupations or management-related occupations. For Tier 1, because we've just talked about Tier 0, Tier 1 occupations are occupations that actually require a university degree, and we'll go into details of that shortly. And then for Tier 2, these are occupations that demand college diplomas or apprenticeship programs that require at least 2 years or more apprenticeship experience. So for Tier 3 programs, these are programs that require possibly a diploma in college, and they relate to occupations such as baking, dental assistants, dental laboratory assistants, and we'll go into that shortly as well. It's important to know that Saskatchewan currently is not in demand of occupations under the Tier 4 and 5 list. Tier 4 and 5 list are occupations that probably do not require any university or college certification, but they require that you show short-term kind of demonstration. For example, door-to-door distributors, those are not currently in demand in Saskatchewan. So we see the Tier 0 category. This relates to financial managers, like I said earlier on, human resource managers, purchasing managers, administrative managers, engineering managers, telecom managers, like generally managers though. So you have an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm just going to scroll down gently. Architecture and science managers. Tier 0 refers to managers of almost all categories. We can see fire chiefs and senior firefighting officers. We have or managers, I guess, corporate sales managers, retail and wholesale trade managers, accommodation service managers. So if your experience or falls under these categories, then you can actually apply to Saskatchewan or under Saskatchewan's PMP, because your occupation is obviously in demand. Now we can see Tier 1 category after Tier 0 category. This refers to occupations that require university degrees, and these are financial auditors and accountants, financial and investment analysts, financial advisors, securities agents, investment dealers. You can see Tier 1 physicists and astronomers, chemists, agricultural representatives, consultants and specialists, public and environmental health and safety professionals. These people are needed in Saskatchewan. So if your work experience falls under any of these occupations and you're considering PMP, Saskatchewan is obviously in need of your expertise. Now we also have land surveyors, data scientists, database analysts, like if cybersecurity specialists, software engineers, IT people. So if you're an IT person, it's not just Ontario that needs you, Saskatchewan needs you as well. Electrical and electronics engineers, mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, industrial and manufacturing engineers. So engineers, generally, you can see your occupation is in demand here. Mining engineers, vets, general practitioners and family physicians. So if you're a doctor, you'd need here. But it's important to note that you would also have to meet their eligibility requirements, and if your profession or is such that you would need to get licensed in Saskatchewan, then you may have to get licensed in Saskatchewan. But it's just important to note that these are the Tier 1 occupation in demand in Saskatchewan. Lawyers gather here, judges, lawyers, university professors and lecturers are needed as well. These are under Tier 1 category and they are needed. So if you fall under these post-secondary teaching and research assistants, now even if you do not have a PhD, even if you are not a doctor, professorial doctor or something, but you have a post-secondary school teaching experience or you're a research assistant, you have a chance here under the Tier 1 category. Secondary school teachers, amazing. Elementary school and kindergarten teachers, social workers, educational counselors. If this is your field, then of course you can apply under Saskatchewan's PMP program because you fall under one of their occupation in demands. Librarians, you can apply as well. Now, let's keep going. Authors, translators, conductors, composers, arrangers, musicians and singers, journalists, This is amazing. Editors. So if this is where your experience falls under, you know that you can actually apply. Now, for Tier 2 category, we can see supervisors, general office and administrative support workers, supervisors, library supervisors, finance and insurance office, workers, executive assistants, procurement and purchasing agents. The list goes on and on and on. And as I am scrolling, I'm sure that you can probably find your own occupation in demand in under one of these categories. Information systems testing technicians under Tier 2, construction estimators, mechanical engineering technologies and technicians, construction inspectors. So if this is where your experience falls under, by all means, you stand a chance of being invited if you apply under Saskatchewan's PMP program. Licensed practical nurses, paramedical occupations, opticians, respiratory therapists, clinical perfusionists, and cardiopulmonary technologists, animal health technologists, and veterinary. I'm never able to say that word. Dental hygienists and dental therapists, medical sonographers, medical radiation technologists, medical laboratory technologists, dental technologists and technicians, massage therapists, amazing, pharmacy technicians. So you can see firefighters, social community service workers, religion workers, library and public archive technicians. The list goes on and on and on. So if this is where your occupation falls under, then you stand a chance. Let's look at the Tier 3, even chefs, retail and wholesale buyers, technical sales, see that, specialists, property administrators, legal administrative assistants, medical administrative assistants, wow, dental assistants. This is interesting. We have elementary and secondary school teacher assistants, pharmacy technical assistants, nurse aides, orderlies, patient service associates, medical laboratory assistants, and related technical occupations. We have dancers. Can you see dancers here? Actors, comedians, painters, sculptors, registrars, interpreters, occupations related to museum and art galleries. This is amazing. So the list is really wide and long, and it's important that you just, explore these and find for yourself where your own occupation falls under and apply. Really, rather than sticking to just one province where that province has its own. For example, Ontario, where Ontario is currently focusing just on IT professionals, as opposed to Saskatchewan that has made it open and made this list longer, in the sense that it doesn't restrict too much the occupations that it needs or that it will be inviting at any time. So these are the Tier 3 occupation in demand in Saskatchewan. So the next province we'll be talking about is New Brunswick, and the capital of New Brunswick is Fredericton. It has a population of about 800,000 people. Its official languages are English and French. Now, in New Brunswick, they are currently not inviting or issuing invitation to occupations that are under Tier 0, Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3. They are occupations that they are in need of or that are in demand currently are under Tiers 4 and 5. Unlike that of Saskatchewan, which we just looked at, which falls under Tier 0, Tier 1, 2, and 3. For New Brunswick, they are only issuing invitations to people who have job offers under Tier 4 and 5. So it's just important to take note of that. So guys, I'm actually going to be showing you the taking you to the tier 4 category and to show you the occupations that are in demand under the tier 4 category. Remember, we said that New Brunswick is currently not taking occupations under tier 0, tier 1, 2, and 3, but they are in demand of occupations under tiers 4 and 5. So these are the occupations under tiers 4 and 5. We have general office support workers, receptionists. They need personal clerks, court clerks, survey interviewers, and statistical clerks. They need data entry clerks. They need, clerks generally, collection clerks, banking, insurance, and other financial clerks. So if this is where you have your experience, by all means, you would want to consider New Brunswick right now, because they need people with under tier 4 occupation. For example, they need library assistants and clerks, transportation routes and crew schedulers, home childcare providers. They need storekeepers, shippers and receivers, I said home support workers, caregivers, and related occupations. They need people who have, experience at tailoring, dressmaking, basically all of these bartenders, travel counselors, primary combat members of this is probably not for those overseas, but these are the occupations currently in demand in Fredericton or New Brunswick. In New Brunswick, these are the occupations in demand in New Brunswick. We can see airline ticket and service agents, casino workers, tour and travel guides, hotel front desk clerks. Amazing. So if the security guards, so if this is where you have your experience or this is your occupation, by all means apply. We can see hotel front desk clerks. If you have this experience, please apply. Mail and parcel sorters, utility maintenance workers, air transport ramp attendants, water transport deck and engine room crew. These are all under tier 4. Tier 4 and 5. We'll be looking at tier 5 shortly. We can see metal working and forging machine operators, chemical plant machine operators, sawmill machine operators. We can see weavers, knitters, and fabric making occupations. Cashiers, student monitors, service station attendants, store shelf stockers, clerks, and order fillers. So if this is where you have your experience and you're overseas and considering moving to New Brunswick, then you have a chance here. Food and beverage servers, support occupations in accommodation, support occupations in personal services. If you have had all of these experiences or one of these is your experience, please, that you can apply to New Brunswick because they are in need of workers under tiers 4 and 5. I'll put the link in the description box so that you can also take a look at it in detail and find for yourself where you can find your own occupation in demand under tier 4 and 5 needed in New Brunswick. So guys, this is about all for tiers 4 and 5 laborers. Generally, laborers are needed. And I hope that this brings some clarity to someone who is looking. So the next province we'll be talking about is Manitoba. The capital of Manitoba is Winnipeg, and Manitoba's official language is English. Now, the population of Manitoba is about 1.4 million. Now, let's look at the occupation in demand in Manitoba. So for Manitoba, we can see that number one for them in terms of occupation in demand is business, finance, and administration occupations. So if this is where you have your experience, or your occupation falls under one of these and you have experience in either one of these, then you know that you can apply. But you'd also have to meet their eligibility criteria or requirements. So it's important to also look at what their requirements are. We have natural and applied sciences and related occupations. Health occupations are in demand in Manitoba. Occupations in education, in law, and social, community, and government services are in high demand. Occupations in art, culture, recreation, and sport. Sales and service occupations, trades, transport and equipment operators, and related occupations. Natural resources, agriculture and related production occupations. Occupations in manufacturing and utilities. So guys, these are the occupations in demand in Manitoba. So the last but not the least province we'll be talking about today is Alberta. That is my province. The largest city in Alberta is Calgary, but the capital of Alberta is Edmonton. Alberta has a population of about 4.6 million, and these are the occupation in demand in Alberta. We can see the Alberta high occupations in demand, and let's quickly go through these lists and see where your occupation might fall under if you were to apply for provincial nomination under Alberta's PMP. Now, these are the occupations. Registered nurses and registered psychiatric nurses are in high demand currently in Alberta. Heavy duty equipment mechanics, restaurant and food service managers, user support technicians, paramedical occupations, software engineers and designers, web designers, roofers and shinglers, bricklayers, glaziers, transportation routes, and crew schedulers. These are all in demand. So if this is where you have your experience and you can prove, then please, by all means, I'll put the link in the description box. This brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys, for watching.